can't work. President Pro Tem Kevin De Leon is behind this new bill. He says while many think of retirement as something that's far away, people can no longer rely only on Social Security. He says Senate Bill 1234 will ensure a decent standard of living for all Californians.
We have to encourage working families to think about their retirement savings and to give them the easiest tools to make it a reality. The California Secure Choice Retirement Program is a first step to addressing this very important challenge.
And laws modeled after California's program are now being considered in at least 15 other states.
Gas prices keep going up across Northern California. In Sacramento, GasBuddy.com says prices increased more than 8 cents a gallon in the last week, and that is 3 cents more than the national average increase. The average price of a gallon of regular in Sacramento is now $2.61. In Stockton, drivers are paying about $2.59, and in Modesto, it's just slightly lower at $2.56 a gallon.
A newborn rescued from a trash compactor. The couple who made the shocking discovery and the police in disbelief about how it could happen.
There it goes. Oh!
You saw that Sacramento driver just narrowly avoiding being crushed by a falling tree limb tonight. How a heroic state senator jumped into action to prevent injuries.
And calling all dreamers how you could win the money to start your own business. The crucial deadline less than 24 hours away.
There it goes. Oh!
A giant tree crashing down in Sacramento, closing part of J Street and crushing a moving car on that busy street. That scene played out in East Sacramento tonight. And
this evening, thanks to the actions of a quick-thinking state lawmaker, the damage was limited to property. We've seen crews clean up a fallen tree before, but it's not often we actually see.
I want to catch it on video.
And hear it fall.
There it goes. Oh!
This surreal scene played out on J Street near 33rd this evening.
It's just kind of slow motion, really. It was like this darkness started engulfing me.
Tracy Courtney was the driver of the white car, the one that took the brunt of the impact. And while this may have seemed spontaneous, there were signs the big limb was about to go.
I was walking down J Street and I walked under this big sycamore tree, and I heard a crack as I walked by it.
State Senator Andy Vidak of the Central Valley says he knew the tree was coming down, so he tried to direct cars away from it.
So he stepped out in the street and started waving his hands, and we all slowed down, not sure what was going on. Just as I got in front of the tree, I heard this massive crack, and all of a sudden, the whole car started getting dark, and I see leaves and branches. And
Tareen Mallett was in the car behind Courtney.
We just automatically hopped out and then moved some branches, and then they ended up getting out safely, though.
Had it come down with a little more force, it might have come through the windshield, and no telling what might have happened. So I'm very lucky.
I walked that direction for a reason, I guess. God put me on that path and sent me back the other direction, so I walked under that tree and heard it.
A freak act of nature caught on camera, and the right person was there at the right time. Crews tell us they aren't sure what caused that 30 to 40-foot limb to break off. It took them a couple of hours, though, to remove everything. J Street is back open tonight.
Tonight in Pakistan, the death toll from an Easter Sunday explosion is rising. At least 70 people, including many children, are confirmed dead tonight. That bombing happened at this park in the city of Lahore. The target? Christians who were celebrating Easter. Taliban fighters who supported ISIS in the past claimed responsibility. More than 300 others were hurt in that blast. Meanwhile, Facebook is now apologizing after its safety check feature malfunctioned during the Pakistan blast. This program is a way for people to post that they're safe after natural or other types of disasters. But yesterday, it mistakenly prompted users thousands of miles from the Pakistan explosion to tell their friends they were safe. Facebook says it worked very quickly to resolve that issue, and it's sorry for any confusion.
Now to the Brussels terror attack, and an urgent manhunt is underway for the suspect known as the Man in White. New security video released today shows the man, and NBC's Keir Simmons shows us authorities are pleading with the public for help in finding him.
Tonight, a stunning setback for investigators. The only suspect accused of terrorist assassination, murder, in connection with the Brussels attacks, freed. Belgian media had reported police believed Faisal Shefu was the man in white, seen in this newly released security video. Now prosecutors say the evidence against him is not there. More questions for Belgian investigators, with the clock ticking.
The Belgian authorities are beleaguered.
And tonight, the manhunt for this suspect goes on.
They're going to have to make a greater effort, but it's going to have to be a European-wide effort. It's not just one country.
He looks like he's in disguise. Yeah.
We showed the video to a Belgian analyst and ISIS expert who told us the man in white, with his hat and glasses, may have intended to escape.
Maybe this guy is just too important to get killed in the attacks.
Authorities conducting terror raids across Europe over the weekend. And today, a special service for the victims of the attacks. Among the congregation, first responders who treated the injured. Prayers, but few answers for families increasingly angry.
We always loved him.
Jim Kane's daughter lost her husband, Alexander Pinchowski, at the airport. The former US ambassador questioning Europe's ability to stop the attacks.
We now know that this attack could have been prevented. Her husband could still be alive. There was information, intelligence that we knew these murderers were connected with ISIS. We know who the enemy is.
Authorities here acknowledge there was some indication that something was coming, but did not have enough specifics to head it off. Meanwhile, plans to reopen the airport have been delayed again. Tuesday marks a week since the attacks. Back to you.
Former Cuban President Fidel Castro releases a scathing letter against President Obama, and this comes nearly a week after the president's historic trip to Havana. In the letter, which was titled Brother Obama, Fidel Castro recounts the history of U.S. aggression against Cuba. He said the nation doesn't need any gift from what he called the empire. And Castro also critiqued crucial sections of the president's speech in Havana line by line. Those two did not meet during this historic trip.
Tonight in Washington state, a newborn baby is safe after being rescued from a trash compactor. A man and his girlfriend had just returned home to their apartment complex in Everett when they heard crying coming from the dumpster. The woman is also the maintenance supervisor. She jumped right into the trash compactor to search for the baby as her boyfriend was calling 911. That baby boy is now in stable condition, and police are wondering why the baby wasn't dropped off at a safe haven. There's a fire station less than a half-mile away from where that baby was found.
In Florida, a convenience store clerk decides to fight back against an armed robber, and this was caught on surveillance video. You can see here the person with the gun enter the 7-Eleven store and hold it up to the clerk's head. The robber then leads the clerk over to the register and orders him to empty the register. But when the robber looks away, watch this, the clerk takes action and quickly strikes and hits the robber in the head. The robber then takes off. In Sin City tonight, one lucky person won big while taking a flight, or waiting for a flight rather, out of the Las Vegas airport. The airport says a Vegas resident won more than $933,000 by playing one of its Wheel of Fortune slot machines. McCarran Airport has more than 1,300 slots inside the terminals. 2 airport visitors won jackpots worth at least $1 million last year. Maybe that's the spot to go.
Turning now to Commitment 2016, a new poll is showing us the state of the Democratic presidential race here in California. According to a USC LA Times poll, Hillary Clinton leads Bernie Sanders with 45% support among all Democrats and independent voters in the state. Both those groups can vote in the primary, the Democratic primary, on June 7th. This poll was conducted before Sanders' victories on Saturday, and he had a great weekend with big wins in Alaska, Hawaii, and Washington state. But he still trails Clinton in the delegate count by 675. He will need a Wisconsin win coming up April 5th to further narrow that gap. As for Republicans, Senator Ted Cruz attacked Donald Trump in Wisconsin today, saying Trump has no real policy plans. And on a morning talk show, Trump says he will stop the personal family attacks if Cruz does.
So instead, he yells and screams and curses and attacks people and threatens lawsuits and attacks their wives and attacks their family.
I didn't start it. He started it. If he didn't start it, it would have never happened. Nothing like this would have ever happened.
Trump will campaign in Wisconsin for the first time tomorrow. He needs most of that state's 42 delegates. He is still 500 away from winning the Republican nomination. We want to remind you, next week, KCRA will host the first debate in Sacramento's race for mayor. Gulston Dart and I will moderate in front of a live studio audience coming up next Wednesday from 6 to 7:30. And the debate will be followed by post-debate analysis and reaction from voters until 8 p.m.
And Edie, one of the key issues Sacramento's next mayor will inherit is how to deal with the growing problem of homelessness in the city. 10 years ago, city and county leaders approved a plan to end chronic homelessness by 2016. The plan included a housing first model to provide permanent homes and transitional programs for those in need. Well, fast forward a decade and the homeless population has only grown. Sacramento is still far from solving the problem. And we are taking a look back at how this issue has grown over the past decade, where the city goes from here. We'll also look at how another major U.S. city implemented a similar 10-year plan and why it's working for them. Join us this Thursday at 6:30 for a live, in-depth look at a decade of homelessness.
A mandate to post calorie information on menus across the country is on hold yet again. The FDA has delayed that requirement until 2017, despite a law that was passed 6 years ago. Supermarkets, convenience stores, and retailers have spent years lobbying against the law. It requires them to post calorie information on menus, menu boards, and displays. So the government is now pushing back the enforcement date. By the way, California passed a similar law back in 2008. And chocolate lovers may not want to hear this one, but a California advocacy group says chocolate contains lead and it is not listed on the ingredients. Manufacturers agree. They said the lead finds its way into chocolate as a naturally occurring element that's absorbed by the cacao plant, but they add it's just a trace amount. However, the consumer group says its tests reveal that some chocolate contains more lead than necessary.
Didn't know that. Calling all dreamers.
Without the prize package, I wouldn't have even known where to start.
Well, what's up for grabs for aspiring business owners in the Sacramento area and how you can apply to win the top prize.
Plus, some lucky kids celebrated Easter at the White House today. Why Michelle Obama's calling this year's egg roll bittersweet.
And there's going to be a chill in the air tomorrow morning. The winds have lightened. It's setting the stage for a chilly start to the morning. We'll take a look at those temperatures and just how much will warm by the end of the week coming up.
New tonight, for those dreaming of opening a business but fearing to do it alone, the Downtown Sacramento Partnership would like to help.
This opportunity came up and I couldn't say no.
Well, they are calling all dreamers now to enter an entrepreneur contest that has a fast approaching deadline.
Yeah, this can get people started. KCRA 3's Dana Griffin highlights how the competition could help people start a business.
Since 2013, the Downtown Sacramento Partnership has been helping entrepreneurs like Heather Wong take a unique idea and open the door to a dream business.
It was just kind of a right time, right place situation, and this opportunity came up and I couldn't say no.
In Wong's case, her vision, the Allspicery, is opening soon thanks to the Calling All Dreamers competition she entered last year. It gives one entrepreneur an estimated $100,000 prize package ranging from startup money, marketing strategy, to attorney fees.
Without the prize package, I wouldn't have even known where to start, who to reach out to, which firms are in the city of Sacramento to help me with various marketing and branding aspects.
The Allspicery will be a one-stop shop for spices, rubs, sugars, and hot peppers. They portion, grind, and will even let you have a taste. Wong says if not for the help of the Downtown Sacramento Partnership, her shop would not be in existence today.
It's their passion and their drive and their vulnerability that gets them, I think, with the idea in the front door. It's the capital that sometimes will hold them back, or lack of.
So with capital taken care of, aspiring entrepreneurs just have to shine a light on their ideas. It could be the next addition to Sacramento's growing business scene.
They take someone's, fledgling little idea and make it a reality. I mean, that is a dream come true.